Andrea, you are in the field, so what do you think of a prenup?
Well, depending on who the couple are and their circumstances, it can be a fantastic way of setting up practical issues. It's like buying a house or sorting out other finances, and it is really also a way to see whether you're not just having a romantic relationship and you're in love, but you can actually work together, which, if you are getting married, that's for life, and you have to be able to work together in all sorts of ways of life.
Before we ask Adele, I'm just curious, you said in some circumstances it can be a good thing. When is it the wrong thing?
It's a wrong thing if you can't agree, but then you probably shouldn't get married. But there are couples where it's not necessary because, you know, the issues are very simple, the assets are very low. It is mainly an issue for people who have complicated assets, who are wealthy, who maybe have been in a second marriage, or who are binational couples.
Okay.
So those are the ones who I see coming
most commonly,
in. And,
yeah. Adele, you are an author, a novelist, you have a vivid imagination. How would you write that conversation?
I actually have written that conversation. My last book, Love Lies, is about a young girl who's a Clapham florist, and she marries a mega rock star who's incredibly wealthy. And quite far into their engagement, which I think is problem number one, quite far into their engagement, his manager approaches the subject that this needs to be addressed. And she's horrified, not because she's not going to come out with the cash at the end of it, but because she feels he's kind of on loan. He's only getting involved in this relationship to an extent if he's already looking for the exit policy. It's like, when I get on an aeroplane, I do quickly look around and see where the exits are. But when I went into my marriage, I didn't look around and see where the exits are and feel for my life jacket. I went into my marriage thinking it will be for life and hoping it'll be for life. And if there's any issue that you think perhaps it won't be, believe me, finances are only a part of the way things can go wrong.
Yeah, Andrea, I mean, I don't know how closely you're involved in actually that process and that first conversation. I mean, because in a way, it could be a full stop on a relationship, couldn't it? Because you walk in there and say the man says wants to set up the prenup, and the woman says, do you know what, I don't want to do that. I'd rather not. I mean, what happens next?
Well, maybe those people shouldn't get married.
Yeah, but isn't that awful? I mean, you're just saying that the money is the thing that is creating the marriage, effectively, or without the money issue.
But you got to work together as a couple. You know, if you were going to come to me and, you know, talking about a prenuptial agreement, I would say to you, okay, this is what may happen if your relationship was going to break down, if your marriage was going to break down, and that's what the courts would do. But if you want to determine what your relationship, your life is going to be financially, then you can work together, and we can do that together. You know, both of you would have a lawyer, but the four of us would work together to work out an agreement to structure that. And it's not just about when the relationship breaks down, but it's also during the relationship.
But couldn't you spend that time with working out, you know, if we, let's prioritise fidelity. Let's really talk about that and let's see what we should be doing about that. Or let's prioritise where we want our children educated, how many children we want, all those other big issues. I just feel sort of going into a marriage and already saying, you know what, when we divorce, you can get that and you can get that. You know, if you had a wife and she was kidnapped, worst case scenario, do you say, oh, well, you know, in my prenup, she's worth 2 million, so I'll pay 2 million, after that, she's yours. You don't. You know, you can't put a price on love. Or, you know, fashion, romantic, all the rest of it. I think that's the issue for me, that I just think it's another step towards saying, you know what, divorce is easy. Do you know what, here's your exit policy.
Yeah. Or, Andrea, is it returning to the sort of very original idea of marriage as a contract?
Well, it is a contract. And you need to have agreements together, you need to be able to work together, and going through that process actually shows that you can do it, which is very important.